guys, how are you? Welcome to our podcast. Thank you for joining us. We're laying the foundations today for the panel at the Future Hospitality Summit in Riyadh, 24th and 25th of May. And the subject of our panel that day will be the boom in high-end dining. There's been an extraordinary boom, and I'm really eager to talk to the people on the panel who are all Saudi nationals and will be far better informed than me. So today we're kicking off as a foundation for that panel and laying the groundwork, if you like. My name is Stefan Breg. I'm the MD of Keane Consult, based in the Middle East, and I'll introduce you to my colleagues. Jana, Abdullah, introduce yourselves, please.
Hi, my name is Jana Bader. I'm the general manager of The Bench, and we're right now operating in Saudi, opening our branch very, very soon. And we're responsible for FHS and welcoming you all on board. Thank
you. Hi, I'm Abdullah Al Muslemani. I'm the CEO of Crown & Company and glad to be a part of this.
Good man. Thank you, sir. Nice to meet you both online. High-end dining, as I will kick off today, what our favourite restaurants are, international in terms of high-end. For me, wow, there's quite a choice around the world, but I'll never forget the sheer romanticism of eating at the Hilton, the Cavalieri in Rome. And how can you not be carried away by the romanticism and drama that surrounds you in Rome? So eating there at Heinz Beck's restaurant, that's my choice. Jana, what's your choice?
Mine, to be honest, is all the way in New Zealand, eating oysters by the river. And there are river oysters, so that will definitely stay in my
memory. Fantastic. Abdullah?
For me, I think it takes me back to London. The Parc Chinois experience for me is truly exquisite.
It's classy. That's very classy. There, you're absolutely right, Abdullah. So let me ask you about high-end dining. You're two Saudi nationals. You must be very proud of how the sector's really moving, and the high-end sector's absolutely boomed the last couple of years. Names such as Rocker arriving, LPM, Billionaire Clubs. There's some real developments there at the high end. That's going to continue, right? So let me ask you, Abdullah, you first. You mentioned London. Which city in the world do you think Riyadh should aspire to, or none at all? Which one would you choose?
I think that takes me right back to London again. I truly believe that London is a busy, multicultural city, which is truly what we see in Riyadh today. And then also with the infrastructure, with the boom in regards to King Abdullah Financial District as well. I truly believe that's where it reminds me most.
There you go. You've made me proud. As a Londoner, you made me proud. Thank you, Abdullah. Jana, which city would you choose, if any?
Where I would aspire Riyadh to be next is taking concepts from Tokyo, London, and Houston, Texas.
Right.
Because each one of these cities plays a very important role. Tokyo in etiquette and service. You have London, as he said, in diversification of restaurants. And then you have Houston, Texas with the experience, the livelihood. So probably multiple places, not just...
Right, that's a great choice. Tokyo has an obsession with quality that is unmatched in the world, isn't it? And the service, the Americans, yeah, we can still learn from the Americans in terms of service. They really do set the grade.
The bosses of F&B in the world, especially Houston.
Really, and Houston was always a test market, as I recall, for a lot of restaurant groups would test in Houston and Atlanta, the two cities that they wanted to succeed in first, before even New York or LA, extraordinarily.
They started in the 1970s, so I'm sure they've adapted well.
Right. So we've seen, guys, these great new names arrive. They've arrived from Western Europe, from Dubai, from North America as well. The pipeline's fantastic. There are some locally created concepts. I mean, from history, Nozomi, which became Miyazu. There's a few other local ones as well. Lucin, the Armenian concept. What do you think, Abdullah? Do you think there'll be more local high-end restaurants coming in, locally owned?
Absolutely. To be honest, there are also other concepts which have been emerging in the market. For the example of Suhail, which is a local Saudi concept, considered a fine dining. But also there are a lot of investors that are seeking to come into this market today here in the kingdom. And yeah, I truly believe that there will be many more fine dining luxury concepts which are locally created here.
Right. Because we haven't seen, Abdullah, the reason I wanted to talk to you guys, and we'll talk about it more at the event, is that we haven't really seen that in the rest of the GCC. I've lived 20 years in Dubai, and we've certainly seen local investment in the mid sector, the low entry price point as well, quick service, coffee shops, not really the mid to high in the premium sector. I wonder what held them back, from doing that.
For me, I truly believe also it's all due to our infrastructure when it comes to the knowledge of what fine dining truly is. But also, I believe that with the exposure that's coming in from the high-end brands that you just indicated, coming into the market is really helping us develop,
Right.
curating local fine dining.
Right.
concepts.
So setting the standard, right? And it's a very high bar. I ate at Roca recently. That was good. Wasn't the cheapest meal I've had recently, but it was really good. So, Jana, what do you think? Local brands, will they make an impact at the high end?
I would kind of oppose to what Abdullah said. Reason being is that Saudis are very brand conscious. And in other words, if you can't Google it, they're not interested.
Right.
It has to be Googled, it has to be known, and it has to be on Instagram, Snapchat, and all of the social media. You have to be seen in that place. So in terms of turning local brands into a fine dining restaurant, I don't really see it happening. It might be working for a while, but I don't see it taking place in the future. However, local food is very important and we do love it, but I'm not sure it would work for a high-end dining experience.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it? So that may explain why that hasn't happened in GCC, and the people that made that call were the millennials, right? Who made that decision which restaurant to go to. I wonder if the next generation are not quite as engaged with brands. I wonder if they'll shrug that off maybe in the interest of some independent thought. I don't know. What do you think, Jana?
Well, the new generation is definitely a lot more aware. They're definitely a lot more traveled, a lot more experienced. So they really know the taste of their tongue. They understand the palates. As Abdullah said, he enjoys London. There are specific places that he has a memory to the taste of that place. So if you bring back that taste, then it hits a memory spot. Then they got it.
Right. What do you think, Abdullah? You think that there's something else that could spark? What could be different in Saudi that was different? I mean, the amount of expats, for instance, is significantly lower in Saudi than the other GCC countries. Might that be a feature in this?
I don't believe so. I believe that with the development of young Saudi hoteliers or individuals within the hospitality sector, I think that automatically will allow us to be able to build our standard when it comes to building concepts. And as well with the exposure, as Jana explained, with traveling and experiencing the vast different cuisines that we can experience, we can definitely come back to Saudi and curate concepts that we can be proud to be local fine dining concepts.
So I think what I'm envisaging here, Abdullah, is, and your company is involved in so much of that, is a young Saudi talent comes in, wants a career in hospitality, which isn't necessarily the case in other GCC countries, works his or her way up, and then thinks, do you know what? I don't want to do a coffee shop or a muffin shop. I want to do high end. So I guess that there is a prospect there.
Yeah, they want to get the experience back home.
Right. And the pride of doing it back home, right? Which has been an extraordinary thing. Well, guys, we wanted to keep it swifter. That was great. That was really set the foundation for Future Hospitality Summit. Thanks for your time today. And anyone listening, please do join us at the summit. It's going to be a fascinating discussion. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Stefan.